Hey guys, Marshall from Going Gear SHOT Show 2015 in Las Vegas. We are here in the Nite Ize booth with Rick Case, owner, founder of Nite Ize, and he's going to tell us about new products. Who better to tell us about new products?
Thanks, Marshall. Okay, Marshall, do you remember a while back when we brought out the Steely Car Mount Kit? That's the magnetic phone mounting system that allows you to essentially take this magnetic phone socket and attach it directly to any different phone with or without a case on, and then that magnetically attaches to this dashball component. So when you're in your vehicle, you have an easy way to be able to view the screen in portrait or landscape, but you can easily adjust and have a smooth connection on how this attaches to the ball. We have just made an additional product this year by a lot of requests from our users. They wanted to be able to have a Steely while they were on the road. So if you're in a rental car or you're in a different car, they wanted to be able to have a solution that would allow them to use the Steely system. So we're just introducing a new product that is called the Steely Vent Mount Kit. And the Steely Vent Mount Kit is a new component that we've added called the Vent Ball. And the Vent Ball is a new product that essentially allows you to have the Steely be completely portable in regards to the dashball portion. So the way this is working is this is a cast aluminum section that is actually allowing you with the spring steel to attach to an individual blade in the vent. There's a lever at the bottom, so you put it all the way into the vent blade, pull the lever up, and now you have it attached to the point where you have a portable Steely that you can use on the go. Same type of operation in terms of being able to hold it securely and smoothly adjust it perfectly. So we're quite excited about this. And then for all the folks that have already owned the Steely Car Mount Kit and have some of the different components, as you know, we now have the components separately, you also will be able to purchase a separate Steely vent mount. So in the event you have Steely in the car that you own or you drive every day, you can have this extra accessory so you can take Steely with you on the road. Marshall, another new product that we've expanded upon that's been quite successful for us is the Doohickey key tool line. As you recall, the original Doohickey we brought out is over here. This is a tool that allows you to easily attach to your keys or perhaps a zipper, and it incorporates a bottle opener as a flathead screwdriver. There's also an angled section along this flathead that allows you to easily cut tape on a box instead of using a key. There's a ruler on it. We have 3 different wrenches, and of course there's a nice carabiner clip at the front to easily allow you to attach and detach it. We just brought out another version of that, and this is called the Doohickey 6X key tool. This is similar, but we've changed a couple of the tools. There's now a sort of a pry bar, if you will, at the end on the section here that would allow you to easily open a paint can, for example. There's a scraper at the bottom, so you can get in and use it as a scraper for various things. There's an angled point here that allows you to cut into something like a clamshell, potentially on a package. And then, of course, there's a bottle opener. There's still the ruler. And then we've also have the same 3 wrenches. And then we've also expanded that line into a product called the Quick Key. And the Quick Key is a key-shaped tool that essentially will open up just about anything except a door. And the interesting part about this is you got to have a bottle opener, of course. There is a serrated edge on it, so if you want to go in and use it to cut a box again or get into a clamshell, there's a nice tight point. There's also a spot as a flathead for a screwdriver. There is a bottle opener on it, and then there's a file on this back side. So again, this looks essentially like the size and shape of a key. This is cast stainless steel, so it has a little bit of, you can feel the weight to it and the heft, but it's nice quality part. And then essentially we've made the same style of product, but this is the skull key. So we have a skull shape on the front of it. And again, I think a great way to keep up with these items on a key ring, for example, as an alternative to just putting them on a split ring, is to use a Nite Ize micro lock that would allow you to simply attach it and then easily lock it onto your key ring and take it to and from. So those are our new products in the Doohickey line. Marshall, the next item I want to show you is an innovative product, and this is a new product category for us. We've invented some new shoelaces. And this is a new product called the Knot Bone Stretch Lace. And essentially, we're using thermoplastic urethane in our extrusion process, similar to our manufacturing of the gear ties, those reusable rubber twist ties. And we've created a lace that we're packaging as 2 54-inch laces that are quite universal in terms of size. And this material can be cut. So you can cut these to size them to fit your laces. When you originally take them out of the package, you cut them to a little bit of a point so you can go ahead and thread the laces. So what these laces allow you to do is, I'm going to show you various colors and talk a little bit about them here. So this lace is interesting in that it stretches. Okay, and the fact that it stretches is interesting in light of the profile. This lace is flat, so this lace looks like most of the different laces that you'll see on the market and what we all expect in a lot of our shoes. But it provides some very interesting features and benefits. When you lace the shoe, you can actually, due to the amount of surface friction in this material, it will allow you to either have the shoe looser at the front, tighter in the middle, looser at the top, and you can change that because of the friction in the system. And the most interesting part about these laces, if you look at them closely, there's a cross section of the lace, and it's a little bit like a dog bone shape. So that shape combined with the parallel lines in the extrusion process and the material is interesting in that when you tie a knot with these laces stay tied because you can pull the knot so tight. So now the knot is nice and tight, and essentially it allows you to just be able to slip your shoes on and off without having to deal with tying them. So you can tie them one time or change them up and they're going to stay tied. This material is thermoplastic urethane, and it's a material that's waterproof, it's very lightweight, it's UV protected. But we think that it's a very interesting solution for people that want to be able to have comfort in their laces. These laces are being used on a lot of different footwear where people are using them out for running, CrossFit, different action sports that they're going to be in, from playing basketball to tennis or to being able to be out in the field. If you'll notice, a lot of laces wear out at the tips. There's no tips on these, so you don't ever have to worry about pieces wearing out, but they're very durable, lightweight, as I said, and waterproof, and we're making them here in America. So we're quite excited about that. There's a wide selection of laces you can match up to all your shoes, and we're looking forward to getting them out there.
I would imagine that versus a regular shoelace where it kind of starts getting loose over time as you're wearing the shoe, these are just going to get tighter. As you're moving your foot around, is it going to pull that knot tighter when you're kind of flexing the tongue and stuff like that?
Well, I think what people have come back to us who've been testing them, what they're saying that they like most about them is, particularly runners who are doing distance running to being on their feet for a while, as your foot swells, essentially the stretch in the lace is also interesting, and it still provides comfort to the shoe, so you're not having to go back and adjust it. So, but once you tie this, again, you can see just in this example of pulling on the lace, they're staying tied. Yet they're just as quickly to be able to untie them and go back. And as you can imagine, you don't even need to tie these. You could go ahead and put a knot through the end and not have any bow at all and use them as slip-on shoes. So they're pretty versatile, something really different. And the only other way this is done on the market is most stretch laces on the market are cross-section round elastic cord. And that works fine, but you usually don't have the amount of friction in the system to have varying amounts of tension in the shoe box here. But they're also very difficult to tie, and they don't want to stay tied in a knot. They always want to come untied.
I got to say, this is probably the first time in my life that I've ever been excited about shoelaces.
We're excited as well. Thanks, Marshall. Marshall, there is another portion to our stretch laces, and this is a system called the Knot Bone Stretch Lace Lock System. And this incorporates an invention of ours we brought out years back that's called the Lace Lock. And if you recall, the Lace Lock is a system that essentially allows someone to take any shoes with laces, whether they're stretch or static laces, and essentially allow them to turn it into a system where once they wrap and lock it, they have a system where their shoes are not going to come untied. They can keep them tight, and you don't have the bulk of all the various knots and things. So the way this works is we're including our stretch laces, two 54-inch sections of those laces, and then we're including the knot bone, which is this injection molded plastic piece we designed, and then there's an end cap. So essentially, after you've laced your shoes, you can thread the laces through the knot bone portion, and the way this works is you cinch it up on your foot. If you look closely at the part, you'll see an arrow on the part. That's the direction that you're going to wrap the laces. So as you wrap this and you come around and you lock these laces, this is absolutely locked into position, so they're not going to come loose. This is a lot different than all the other things you've seen on the market, like a cord lock, which essentially has a spring in it. As you pull in this direction with anything with a spring, it essentially compresses the spring and the laces come loose. So this will completely hold the adjustment that you have, and then you can trim the end of the laces at a distance you prefer so you can be able to tuck the rest of it in. And this is interesting. It's a nice, clean look. You don't have extra laces going around, but it's a nice system. Again, once it's adjusted, you can just slip your shoe on and off, and you don't worry about the system coming untied. Okay, this is a new product called the Innova STS bike light. Essentially, we've created a new bike light system that is innovative in that this bike light utilizes the amount of real estate on a handlebar I think that is not often utilized, and that is the section that's right at the stem, the connection point between the crossbar and this stem. So there's a distance here, and this essentially allows you with this stretchable format to come around and clip and easily attach it. This is a sort of a high density grippy rubber, if you will, that's UV resistant, that's able to connect to different diameters of bars universally. There's a couple of different adjustments in the 2 different open slots here, so you can tighten it up or loosen it, but you end up with a very secure method of attachment, and then you have all the features of our STS light, which is, STS is our swipe to shine light that allows you to swipe in the direction of the color light you want. As you recall, you have high white, low white, flashing, and then you also have the ability to turn it on and within 5 seconds hold it in the middle and dim this down to the level you want. It'll blink at the lowest level and the highest level, and then you can let off with the amount. This bike light is powered by 3 AAA batteries, and the batteries are easy to get in to access while the mount is still on the bike. So 3 AAA batteries. There's an O-ring seal all the way around, and this is waterproof. It's IPX7, so you have a complete waterproof solution. And remember, this light also has dual LEDs. It has both white, and of course you swipe to the right for red, and you have the red light in the different modes of high, low, and flashing. And with the flashing red light, you can also attach this to the stem of the seat if you wanted to shine in the rearward direction as a safety light.
What's the output on this one?
This is 142 lumens. And this is similar to our headlamp that we introduced just last year. So this is another new Innova light that we've brought out. This is the Innova STS helmet light. This is a light system that allows you to conveniently attach our light to any different type of helmet. And there's a couple of different connections in here that enable you to do that. One is a bracket that allows you to connect this with this elastic strap to any vented helmet. There's also a section that is 3M VHB, and the VHB allows you to have a secure bond on the helmet surface. So you can use these in conjunction with one another, and then obviously over on helmets that have a smooth surface, you can go ahead and use the bracket to attach it with the 3M VHB here. The bracket is completely adjustable, so you can have the light shine in the direction that you want, and this is a 142 lumen helmet light, and it uses our swipe to shine technology that essentially allows you to swipe in the direction of the color of the light indicated on this interface pad. It's powered by 3 AAA batteries. It's waterproof to a meter, and we think this is an excellent way for people that are having to wear a helmet to have a nice alternative in terms of using various headlamps where you could have straps that may not hold on well. Okay, Marshall, we have a new product called gear tie. We call it Loopable Twist Tie. I know you're familiar with our gear ties from years past. Essentially, we've added this loop at one end, and as simple as this seems, this is so convenient because you can take the end of the gear tie and put it through the loop, and essentially you can loop it, but not only that, you can easily cinch it. So if you want to go ahead and just bend this over, it's a quick way to make a connection, and it's also easy to go ahead and loop that around some type of an anchor point, and then have it attached and then have the other portion. So we're showing a few examples here. We're doing the gear tie loopable twist ties in a 6-inch size that is going to be available in black, blaze orange, and this new neon yellow color. But it's a great way to go in and be able to organize all those unruly cords or have interesting methods of connection. From organizing cords to hanging things up to carrying things to bundling things. We're pretty excited about that. So we have the small diameter gear ties in 2 lengths, in the 6-inch length, and then also in a longer 12-inch length. And then we've added the gear tie loopable twist tie in a 24-inch length, where at this point the the diameter actually increases a little bit in size. You can see the two different ones here, but same type of operation. You can take the end of the gear tie, put it through the loop, and with essentially clipping it here, there's enough friction in the system to be able to hold it. Of course, it's simple to give it a good wrap and then make a quick connection or be able to carry things. So we're giving you the idea that you can loop it now, cinch it, and then bend it back and be able to reuse it. So we're quite excited about this. And I think you know from the past, there's a lot of things you can clip at the end of here that we make, like S-beaners and various items that would allow you to do it. I'm going to show you a new wall mounting docking system that we're created in a minute. And essentially allows you to take any gear tie, our standard gear ties, the loopable gear ties, and be able to turn them into a system that allows you to create a storage and organization system on the surface of a wall. So we'll go talk about those in a minute.
Do you have any sort of weight rating on any of these?
Well, we do. On our standard gear ties, we do not state a weight rating, but because these are molded loops at the end, we do have a weight rating. So you'll find the weight rating of the 24-inch size, which is our larger diameter size, to be 25 pounds, and you'll find the smaller diameter to be in the 10-pound range. And what we're talking about there is essentially a straight pull at the end. So again, they're being used for lighter weight storage and organization applications where you might be carrying things that are not super heavy. Okay, Marshall, we were just talking about the gear tie loopable twist ties, and I mentioned the fact that we can now take gear ties and use them when we're using various objects in the stored application. So if you want to go ahead and store things, we've created what we call gear tie mounting docks. And essentially there's two different sizes. They're coming in a 4-pack, and what these enable you to do is essentially take the two different diameters of gear ties, the large diameter and the smaller diameter, and you can go ahead and actually dock the gear ties. So if you look at this, if you look at these gear tie docks closely, you'll see that the way they work is, if we can get a good view here. So there's two fasteners that allow you to go ahead and anchor this into something like a stud in your garage, or perhaps you can take a 1x4, put it in and create your own rack system. But essentially these two fasteners can attach this mounting dock, and you'll notice when I go to dock these, essentially the gear tie is being gripped on the inside here, but it makes it really easy. There's a little plate that after you've attached these to the surface, you can go ahead and snap this together and cover those points so it's nice and clean. So the way the gear tie docks work is you can take various things. We talked a little bit about what you might do with that loop. You can put it back through and cinch it, but essentially it gives you an easy way to come up to the dock, pull it down, and you have a nice way to go ahead and attach things. So you could take various items that are sort of sometimes unwieldy to get a hold of. This is a pretty good example of anything like a rope or a hose or a cable that you could bundle up. And then again, as you take it out of the area where you're storing it, you have use of the gear tie when you're on the go. The larger the gear ties get, you're going to go in and use the larger dock. Here's an example of one over here. But there's a lot of friction in this rubber on this gear tie. So the friction is a good example here, using this with oars, for example. This is normally a pretty difficult thing to store in your garage. Usually these are leaning against the corner of your wall in the garage. So this is an interesting way to make this loop and then go ahead and actually have them secure and be able to attach. But it's simply this easy in terms of putting this on, pulling it down, locking it. Again, this will hold 25 pounds, so you could take a full set of downhill skis, for example, and still mount them in this application. My favorite part of this system is that if you can mount these docks very close together, and you can have a lot of density, and then you can swing things out of the way. So if you wanted to get to different things and be able to move things around, you can do that. So the system can be very compact and tight, yet have a lot of versatility in terms of all the various shapes and items that you can grip with the gear ties. So we're looking forward to bringing this out, and I think you'll find this to be an interesting way to organize some of those cluttered areas you have in your house, in your garage, and at your businesses.
All right, Rick, thank you for your time. We appreciate you showing us all the new products. You have some really cool stuff this year, and we'll see you next year.
Marshall, thanks again. I always appreciate it. I look forward to this every year, so thanks for coming by.
We really appreciate it. All right, thank you.